Shwmai a croeso cynnes, and welcome to the What's Your Story podcast. I'm James Owen, a Welsh filmmaker and storyteller, and I'm passionate about sharing stories. This podcast is all about business owners sharing their journey, and we'll be speaking with directors, entrepreneurs and creatives from all across Wales to learn from their experiences. We believe everyone has a story to tell. What's your story? Shwmai a croeso I What's Your Story, and today we've got a really exciting personal story about someone who is the best in her business. She has claimed to be the best solicitor ever. She runs her own law firm. She's a Welsh speaker, proud Welsh patriot. I'm very pleased to have Kathryn Devonald-Davies in the studio today. Croeso I ti, Kathryn.
Diolch yn fawr. Very delighted to be here. Really delighted.
Well, I was so pleased that you accepted my invitation when I visited.
At last.
At last. No, it was great to hear lots about DPA Law, the law firm that you own now. In summary, could you just explain to the listeners and those that are watching the podcast, whatever that may be, could you just describe what does your day-to-day look like in a week?
My days vary enormously. So it could be me going down to the police station to represent a client. It could be me doing a deal for a big business. It could be me advising startups on their next journey and next business. It could be anything at all. And coupled with that, running the law firm.
Wow. So you're a busy woman.
I'm a busy woman.
But it's great. And law, it's a big area, isn't it? You've got so many different intricacies, family, business, isn't it?
That's right. And for me, it's important to make it available to everybody. So just because we're in Llanelli, just because we've got small offices in the middle of Llanelli town or in the high street in Ammanford, we want to offer that sort of world-class service. And that's what's important to me. And to be able to offer it in my own language, in Welsh, that's equally as important.
Yeah, and I've actually engaged with you on some personal matters. We might unpack that later. Or I don't. Does that go against your confidentiality?
Not if you're allowing it.
Not if I'm allowing it. But yeah, I think for me as somebody in the region, I mean, Welsh language, that is something that's really important to me. And,
me too.
And I don't favour the Welsh-speaking businesses, because at the end of the day, not everyone speaks Welsh, right? No. But there's something about when you pick up the phone and somebody starts speaking in Welsh to you, you're like, oh, I'm already friends.
Well, when you think, right, that, I went through school only speaking Welsh. And when I went away to Bristol to university, it was a case then that I was thinking to the medium of Welsh, having to write my essays in Welsh and then having to translate them. So, if I had to do that, then to expect these entrepreneurs who've got their amazing ideas that are thriving to have to start to think about things in a different language is enormous, isn't it? So I want to be able to offer them amazing legal advice through the medium of Welsh, so their mother tongue.
Yeah, brilliant. And to look at, because we'll probably talk about your experience now, but I think law can sometimes get a bit of a bad rep. You see suits, right? You got these big wigs in suits who charge tens of thousands of pounds for advice, and sometimes people they need a bit of help, they need a bit of advice, don't they?
Of course they do, and the earlier they get that advice, the better it is. As you can see, I'm not one to wear suits. I turn up in shiny trousers and sequins and whatever, but the advice is still top notch, it's still the best that they're going to get. So, come and see me and we can have a chat. It's not going to cost the earth. What is going to cost the earth is if you don't get that advice straight away and then things go wrong and then we have to untangle things and then the cost will start to mount up.
So it's important that...
From day dot.
Yeah. Which is great. So you are a practicing solicitor. You own your own law firm.
I do.
And from Penrose as a young girl, you went to study in Bristol. So, from a young age, you were clearly passionate about law and went to study it.
Yeah. So when I look back, right, I think two things inspired my career in law. Two things, right? So the first thing was I was wrongly accused as a small girl of going into my grandmother's wardrobe. And I remember thinking, I did not do this and nobody would believe me. And I thought, my gosh, somebody needs to stand up for me here and give me a voice, right? So that was number one.
Serious?
Seriously. The second thing was LA Law and the shoulder pads and the clothes. And that's, something that has held strong throughout my whole career is this love of clothes and the love of style.
Wow. So those are the sorts of things that inspired you.
Definitely.
To
And,
start.
clothes have been important to me throughout every stage of my career. So they act as armour, they act as an empowerment tool. It's something that can demonstrate who I am, show my own personality. I'm not somebody to hide behind a suit. I'm somebody that shouts out, I'm not in a suit, this is me.
I had a bit of shock when I first met you because, you were in these glamorous outfits. I thought, where's the suit?
No suits. No suits here, no.
Wow. Do you have a policy in DPA law?
No,
suits?
what I do have a policy about is that I want people to be individuals. I'm very much a portfolio-led firm owner, if you like. So I don't want anybody to be replicas of anybody else. I want them to show their personalities. Some people decide to wear suits, some don't. But that's who they are. And then people will buy people. And that's what's important to me. Somebody will love me, somebody equally will hate me. But they've got the choice and they've got the person and they get to know the real me.
Yeah, fantastic. So you started study law in Bristol.
Yeah.
Talk me through your early career as someone studying law.
So many years ago. So went away to Bristol, qualified as a solicitor, decided law wasn't for me very quickly. Went and did my teaching degree, then did my financial planning certificate, then decided, actually, I want to go and lecture. So started in Bridgend College, as it happens. Then was a company law advisor in Companies House. Then decided, I need to go. I was offered 2 training contracts. Decided to go back, pursue a career in law, qualified as a solicitor. Did teaching or academia and practice at the same time. Then went off to teach in Cardiff University, Aberystwyth University, Swansea University. And then developed really a bridge between academia and practice, which I still am a massive advocate for, needing to have that bridge, somebody that can cross over and say, right, this is what happens in academia, this is what happens in practice, let's try and combine them both and create a better person. That then led for me to go and visit an university in Tokyo, right? And I wanted then to see how they were teaching law and how they were implementing technology into their teachings of law. So again, I'm still passionate about creating this law course that is better going to maybe be a better experience for clients, where the solicitor is more tech savvy, but also very much up there with the law. And that's what I try to encourage in our firm in Davern, Ammanford and Cardiff.
Brilliant. And for me, as someone who I study filmmaking, very different to your area. But one thing that I realise is really important is the balance of theory and the practical.
100%.
I'm someone who's very practical. For one of my assignments in university, submitting a YouTube vlog was an assessment.
Yeah.
Which for me, who I wouldn't think I'm a strong writer, so to submit a vlog as work that gets marked for me was great, right? But there was the balance of the theory side. So I would have done lots of reading back then on different documentary modes, and we did lots on film noir. We had a fantastic lecturer, Dr. Matthew Jones, who's a Llanelli boy. And I do lots of work with him now, which is great fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I learn a lot about the theory and what's interesting there, because you can go away and study something, but then bring in the balance of the real world and real life experiences. You can actually become a better solicitor in that case.
Definitely.
Because it's all well and good looking at cases, but until you get in a courtroom or into a police station representing or defending somebody, the experience doesn't hit home until you're actually in those situations.
Well, every bit of your experience is a layer, isn't it? And, I can put my teaching, my financial planning background, my lecturing, everything forms part of a layer. But until you meet that client and understand that client's needs, you're not going to become a good solicitor. And that's what we pride ourselves on. And I want people to be forward-facing. I don't encourage working from home because I think we need to be with the clients. We need to understand that client. And when I'm talking to any client about their business, I need to understand their business inside out and back to front. Otherwise, I'm no good to them.
Oh, that's really, really important to hear, actually, because I think, since we've come out of COVID, the pendulum's swung the other way because people wanted to work from home and all that. I learned very early on that working from home, the novelty wore off.
I could never work from home.
No.
Ever.
I get the hybrid model. I think, with busy lives and kids and things, that it kind of makes sense. But you just can't beat being in person. And I imagine when you're talking about maybe very serious things when it comes to needing legal advice, you want to speak to someone.
Well, you need to see the whites of their eyes. That's the thing, isn't it? And you get an energy from a person that you can't get over a screen. So I need to understand that person. I need to empathise, to, really understand the nature of the business or the person, and to get that energy and feel that energy that comes off a client.
So it's interesting that you had a career in teaching in academia, a very successful career. It sounds like that. But weird that you were studying and then all of a sudden thought, I don't really enjoy law, and then you went off to do something else. And here you are now, running your own law firm.
I suppose you've got to sometimes experience other things to understand where your true calling is. I think that's the truth of it.
And you run a very successful law firm here in West Wales, in South West Wales.
And in the East, in Cardiff.
And in East and Cardiff, don't forget them. They'll be sending us DMs now.
They will.
You forgot about us. But tell me about some of the experiences that you've learned from in some of the challenges you've faced in running other businesses in your time.
So right at the start of my career, I remember I was working in Companies House as a company law advisor, right? And I had gone to watch James Dyson speak in Cardiff, and he was doing a talk, and I can remember it to this day, and it's formed the whole of my life, I think, when he said that in Japanese that there's this one word or one concept that means crisis but also means opportunity. It's the same word or same concept. And that, just hearing that, and I went up to him at the end and I said, thank you, because to me, that just was a golden moment. And that has really taken me through really difficult times through my career, as well as the positive times. So, I had a really successful career in academia, decided to start our own law firm, teaching school, and then trusted the wrong person, and that was a big, big Everest to climb. But it was knowing then that, okay, there's a crisis, this is a crisis in my life, but also there could be an opportunity. And when I look back at it, it's the time before that thing happened and the time after. And it's that one sentence that I heard from James Dyson all those years ago that has really carried me through. And just knowing that in every crisis, there has to be an opportunity, the yin and the yang. And I think that's the one thing then that's taken me through it all.
Wow, that's quite an incredible thing to hear, and to see him in person, in the world of business. He is a very accredited inventor, business owner, very successful, isn't he? But to hear that in person, and the penny drop moment.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was the penny drop moment.
Because if you think about it logically, it's like, how can a crisis also be an opportunity? But it's true.
But it's true. It is so true. Because when I look back now, that thing that happened was probably one of the best things that could have happened to me, even though it was hell at the time. Looking back, it's what formed me to become who I am today. It's led me to have a team around me, which I trust implicitly. It's led me to trust myself implicitly, and the value, the self-worth that I've got, which I've never really lost. I've always had value in myself, always put real self-worth at the top of the pile. But I now look after myself. I make sure that I've got a team that believes in me, because that's really important. And that's what I try to be for these clients that come to me with their new fledgling ideas. I need to be the one that believes in them. Equally though, I'll tell them, I don't think this is quite right, but let's look at another business aspect of this, and then let's build on that. But it's the value that you put on yourself, and I wish they taught that at school. I really do.
I think thinking about the crisis, opportunity, diamonds, right? They're made in the fire.
Exactly.
They're refined in testing times. And I think sometimes we need to go through these tests in life. Because actually those lessons we learn from those experiences can actually make us stronger as individuals, as entrepreneurs. Some of the tough things that happen in life, we can learn from them. And, I've been through some tough stuff myself. And, I go into lots of colleges, universities. I go back to my old uni and local colleges to inspire the young generation of creative students. And do you know what? I probably had one of the toughest times ever. I was just at the first end of my first year of my degree. I set up the business in the middle of COVID, which to most people is probably one of the worst times to ever start a business. However, in the crisis, I seen the opportunity.
Exactly.
And I came out of that. But, for me as a third year student who had just lost his father, trying to finish my final year of my degree, the most important time, it was horrendous. But I came out with a first-class honours. I worked hard, and I got rewarded for that. And when I go and speak to some of these young people, I tell them, if I could achieve those things, a boy from Llanelli that hasn't been raised in academia or anything like that, to have those opportunities, I've been able to work for it. And, mental health, I think, is something that, it's a massive, huge topic. It's really, really important. But I've seen it in my world, where I think sometimes mental health gets taken advantage of because you don't know what to believe. Are you just lazy or actually are you having a real struggle here?
I'm very, very lucky. I don't suffer with bad mental health. I've always been, I take advantage of every opportunity. I've got this drive in me, which I'm very lucky. I don't know where it's come from, probably from my parents, but there's this drive that will force me on. And I've got this picture at home, which is of a woman with all her ancestors behind her, just pushing her on. And I look at that and I think the responsibility, the burden on me is to be the best version of myself. And that's what drives me on day after day after day, is to be that best version of myself. And, there's not a day that goes by. I've also got a poem hanging up in my house, which says, I'm the best apple that there can be, but some people won't like apples. So don't be tempted to morph yourself into a banana, because there'll be people that don't like bananas, but I can be the best apple. So just be the best version of you. And whatever that is, don't be apologizing for it. Don't try and hide it. Shine. That's my advice to everybody. Shine, because there's a lot to shine on about.
Resilience, that's the thing. And I think that's the thing a lot of entrepreneurs have in common, because I think if you're not resilient as a business owner, you're going to struggle.
Well, you are. And, to be resilient, you've got to have things in place like self-worth, like your drive, like the knowledge that that your values are aligned to what you're trying to do. Because whatever I've tried to do, my values have always been my foundation, always. And whatever I do, if my values don't align with them, then I don't do it. It's as simple as that. But that's easy for me to say at the age that I am now. When you're younger, you try to morph yourself into something that maybe does not align with your values, and you're soon going to learn that you need to go back, take a step back, realign.
So you've had, tough times over the years, and you've overcome these challenges that you've faced. And what are those things that have really helped you, things that you've held on to that have helped you overcome some of these challenges? Clothes is one big thing.
Clothes is massive for me. So style, just knowing that I can put an outfit on and that outfit will empower me. That outfit will show me, will make me shine again, because it's me, and you really can't underestimate the power of clothes, because even at my darkest days, I would put on an outfit which would force me to go out, and then new opportunities would come. And I've held on to that. I always try and look my best. I always try and be me. I don't try and hide who I am. I wear clothes No, I don't. I don't. So I got, I'll wear diamantes in my shoes. I'll wear, whatever I want to wear, I will wear to work. And I don't keep anything for best because every day should be my best day. So clothes is really important. Family, of course, are important. They're my number ones. They push me on. They allow me to be who I am. And again, it's about having people that are in your team, the people that understand you, the people that know who you really are. And I'm transparent. I wear my heart on my sleeve. I don't hide anything. If I'm cross, everybody knows about it. If I'm upset, everybody knows about it. If I'm happy, the whole world will know about it. But it's about creating, I've got rituals. So I've got to go walk 2 hours before I go to work every morning. That's really important for me because I then go into every day with a clear head and know exactly what's coming. It's about creating that safe space around you where you've got friends that you can trust. You do lose a lot of friends along the way when you go into business. You do lose people that because you just haven't got the time to invest in them. But the real friends are the people that are there when you don't contact them for 6 months, but you can pick up a phone and they'll be there for you. So it's about having the team, the clothes, it's the family, it's all these things combined into one, which really make me who I am.
Great, and it's good to know that you've got those things in place to help you when there are challenges and overcome those. And yeah, you've experienced a lot, but in this stage of life, you are now running... Stage of life? Well, you're an experienced entrepreneur.
Oh my gosh, I feel old. Not only that, you compared... Oh my gosh, I don't know where I'm going to go from here now. Stage of life.
But DPA Law, right?
Yeah.
So... I'm talking about the networking, right?
Yeah.
So you've set up this...
and that again, West Wales Business Hub, right? That was only to do with empowering the businesses that come through our door. So we've got young business owners, right? And they don't understand the power of networking. And this is something that you can't teach. They've got to experience it. So, I wanted to create, again, another safe space where entrepreneurs can come and that they can talk to each other, they can learn from each other, they can look at what people are wearing, because again, I'm back to this style thing. But it's about creating somewhere that is welcoming and empowering, because we have to empower our business owners, because without them, the world would be a much darker place. We have to encourage the business owners, and we have to look at Llanelli, and the amount of amazing businesses that are thriving here, but people don't know about them. So I needed to create somewhere that everybody could come together, speak safely, and just learn from each other.
Yeah, I've had some fantastic experiences. We've engaged with Murray from Wolfworks more recently, who's been helping us with some of our systems. And I got good friends that I bumped into, Gareth and Ruth. And it's a real safe space. Yeah. It's informal, it's relaxed. And I made some cracking connections.
Because running a business isn't easy, is it? And anybody who tells you it's easy, they're lying. I'm sorry, but they're lying. And it's about knowing that other people are going through what you're going through, that you can soundboard off other people, that you can just discuss little ideas, collaborate with others. It's just great. It really is. It's exactly what I wanted it to be.
Brilliant. You've got a team of people that work with you in DPA Law. You've probably got lots of lessons that you've learned in leadership. I'm slowly building my team here in Stori Cymru. What are some lessons you've learned in building your team to get the right people? Because I've made lots of mistakes. I've hired the wrong people, and it's really hard to make those decisions when you're employing staff. And I'm sure lots of people who are running accountancy firms and lots of businesses that need people, because for some people they can be a sole one-man band, one person in the business, and that's what they can do, and they're happy with that. But I think where I want to take the business, I want to build a team. And I've learned some lessons in doing that. What are some of the things you've learned in leadership when you want to grow and build the best team?
My one tip is to always be authentic, right? So don't ever try to not be yourself, because I'm amazing at getting ideas, right? I'm the best ideas person in the world, but I'm rubbish at making them into, finishing and completing them. Good. So then I hire people that are extremely good at doing that. So I make sure that my team works effectively by looking at the personalities, looking at their values, because we've got to all share our values, because we can't work with each other otherwise. So to be authentic, and from the outset, people come to me for interviews and when they're not being authentic, and I don't want to see carbon copies.
What are some of those signals then?
Where they try too hard, where they know me better, when they think they know me better than I know myself. They've learnt the script, they regurgitate knowledge that they've learnt from the internet. I like people that have come to me and ask me questions and say, right, okay, what are you like to work with? Or what are you like to work for? Because I need people that are interested in how I work and interested how DPA work, because not every law firm are the same. And I keep telling people this, there are law firms out there to suit every client, but also to suit every member of staff. And they're not going to be the same firms. So we run DPA in a very different way from maybe our competitors do. But it's about, knowing who we are, trusting who we are, trusting each other, because integrity, honesty, they far outweigh anything else. But, we take it as base level that everybody's got their qualifications, right? And that's not important. But what is important to me is that I see a spark in somebody. And once I see a spark in somebody, then I know I can do something with that spark. The drive, the self-worth, it's back to the same things that I've got myself. And it's about mirroring, isn't it? It's having the people that you won't know that can provide that client with the best experience.
And that spark isn't something that...
You can't make it up. You can't hide it. You can't pretend you've got it. It's there, and you can see it. It's in the whites of their eyes. It's in their smiles. It's in anything that comes before you.
But thinking about that as a concept, as a word, a definition, it's hard to explain. You just know it, right?
Yeah. And that's what comes with experience, isn't it? I've sat in many an interview where I think, this is not going to work because that spark is not there. They want to be a solicitor just because they want to be a solicitor. I don't want that kind of person. I want a person who wants to make a difference. I want a person who can help. I want a person who can, really get into the concept of what that client is bringing to them.
Fantastic. So you're looking at helping and supporting lots of businesses. You've helped Stori Cymru with some of our succession planning, even though I hope I got many more years in the business left. I'm only turning 30 next year.
You've got to start with the end in sight. We know this, don't we?
Yes. 30 next week, not yes, next year. That'd be nice. I'd like to hold on to my 20s. But yeah, succession planning is really important, something that I've learned. And in the region, I mean, we were talking about it earlier this morning. Cameron's podcast has gone out already
Cameron
today.
Is a superstar.
He is a superstar. And I'm so pleased that we had an opportunity to champion him. And we got lots of his plants in our studio.
Yeah, so do I. My house is filled with them.
Filled with them. What is it that, with people, young entrepreneurs within Carmarthenshire, how can we help champion and support them? What are some of the things that we can do?
By empowering them. That is key. Let them be who they need to be. Don't try and make them into solicitors or accountants. That's our job, to really have this team behind these entrepreneurs. My advice is let them thrive, let them be who they are, and be authentically who they are. Don't try and hide them away because they don't fit into a certain box or whatever. We've got enough boxes. Let's get out of these boxes now and just really make these, empower them to be amazing, because they are. The business ideas that come from this part of the world are phenomenal, really, and it's just so nice. Every week I go home and I'm empowered myself because I see the ideas, I see the concepts that come before me, and to play just a small part in this is amazing. And I've got this other branch, if you like. It's called Boots to Business. So you've got people, not just the youngsters now, but people who've gone through, maybe had lives in forces or in the police force or been to prison or whatever. They come out and they've got this energy and they've got this need to do something. And there's a business in everybody. There's a book in everybody. Do you believe that? I do. I really do think there's a business in everybody. And I just think if you concentrate on what you love and not try and second guess what other people are going to love, then you've got that USP, you've got that secret sauce, haven't you, of creating something that you can be amazing at, because we can only be amazing if we are authentically us. I'm a big believer in that. I wouldn't be amazing if I had to dress in a certain way or if I had to act in a certain way. And again, people are not going to not everybody will love me for who I am, but I don't care, because the people who love me know they love the real me. And that's what you've got to do with every business owner. Don't try and or force them into a box or tell them, oh, you really need to do this. And, be aware as well of business coaches that say, if you follow what I say, this is going to be amazing, right? Yeah. No. The business owners are the people that are experts. They can think outside of any circles that any coach can give you. So all we can do is empower them and make them amazing.
That's great, and it's interesting you say there, because I got a business coach, Adam. He's fantastic. But what I've noticed, I often analyse things and observe, and actually what he's doing is enabling me.
Exactly.
I don't know how he does it. He does this thing, right? He calls them whiteboard sessions, right? So we do these extra things. We meet him regular. Once a quarter, we meet up with his business community, all the other people he coaches. Right. In Chepstow, we have a great time. And but one of the things we've engaged with Adam is he just calls them the whiteboard sessions, and it's the magic whiteboard. And it's this whiteboard, right?
Yeah.
It's as plain as it. It's a flipping whiteboard. It's about 20 years old. He's had it for so many years. So you probably can't even imagine how many people have been sort of drawn in on this thing. And we meet up in his space, 4 walls, a whiteboard, and him. And he doesn't know as much as I do about filmmaking, but it's just something that he just helps us with myself and Amy just unlock.
But that's a good coach, isn't it?
He's a fantastic coach.
That is the nature of an excellent coach, unlocking, and by unlocking, it pushes you then, isn't it, into your stretch zone, because you don't want to be in your comfort zone. Stretch yourself all the time.
Yeah, it's really good. But it's important that, some of these businesses as well, they have that support and they have that accountability, but that positive encouragement as well. Because I think that sometimes you can maybe, I've seen it with a couple of small businesses more recently that they've made certain mistakes here or there. But I think it's, as a coach or as someone you're mentoring maybe, sometimes you've got to let them make the mistakes, right? Because if you just do all the work for them, they're not actually going to learn those lessons.
No. I'm a mentor for quite a few businesses, right? And that's what I try to get across to them, is make the mistakes. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Nobody gives a football to an 18-year-old and says, go and play professionally. You've got to learn the skill in the same way that being a ballerina, you can't just become a ballerina, right? So you've got to learn, and you've got to fail, and you've got to learn again. And that's the true thing of it. You've got to be allowed to make those mistakes.
So great. We talked a lot about empowerment, and I can sense that positivity is something that you massively believe in.
Massively. And, making sure that my cup is full, because if my cup isn't full, then I can't help other people. So I very much look after myself, self-care, self-love, all these things. Gratitude is massive in my life. Yeah. So, very much positive.
That's brilliant. I want to ask you, for those who are listening, a lot of those that we engage with run businesses or they work in organisations. Succession plan is something we've talked about. You've helped me learn a lot on that. For those who are maybe, because I've experienced it, right, and I've shared this with you in part. I had a rugby injury. I was taken out of the game, injured. We were in a be honest, very, very difficult situation in the business, and no income coming in, and that going through something like that has taught me that, okay, we need to have things in place to maybe help to protect ourselves. So what are maybe those who have, because when you're young, you're excited, you go and start a business. Yeah. Some of these people you've engaged with who are maybe ex-offenders, right? They're excited and they're back in the real world and they want to do something. But sometimes they miss the due diligence, or they miss the things they really need to do.
Do you know what?
So what are some of the things that people just, from listening to this conversation now, they absolutely need to do these things next to lock it in?
The worst kind of people, right, are on a Friday night. They're excited, they want to start a business, and it's always a Friday night. They pay the fee, they set up the company on Company's House, and they think they're invincible, right? Because they're now a company director. not knowing what the regulatory documents are, not knowing what the laws are surrounding the companies, my advice is always this. Come and speak to a solicitor. There'll always be free half hours, like we offer the free business MOTs. Take advantage of them. Come and see us. Make sure you've got the right business entity. Make sure you understand what you're getting into. And make sure that this business is the right fit for you.
Because you'll probably have the argument will be, well, Kathryn, I want to save some money. I don't want to pay a solicitor.
It's not going to save you money, let me assure you. And I can tell you that without, well, as they would say in Welsh, heb flewyn a dafod, right? Because I can tell you certainly that you will not be saving money, because I will be seeing you later down the line where it'll be far more costly to rectify the mistakes you've made.
Because like you said earlier, if you don't get that advice early on, it's going to cost a lot of money.
Oh my
because
gosh.
you might have to unpack some of those things.
Unpack it, and not just that, you lose the business credibility then because you're changing business entities, or there's all kinds of things that can go wrong. So make sure, come, take advantage, not just from me, any solicitor, as long as it's a commercial solicitor, but make sure you go and get the right advice straight away before committing to that Friday night mistake over a bottle of wine.
I'm going to have a look now, because last week we celebrated 6 years in business.
That's excellent.
And, but I never engaged a solicitor. I did it myself on Companies.
But now you know better.
And now I know better. I do know better. But I'll have to see if I did it on a Friday night.
I bet
Who
you
knows?
did.
Maybe
I bet you did.
We've gone to hear a bit about your personal story here today. We love hearing personal stories, and I'd love to ask you this. We ask all our guests on what's your story. If you could spend an hour listening to somebody's story, hearing a conversation, Kathryn, who might you love to listen to?
I've always wanted to go back in time, right? And my great-grandfather, Sammy, had a shop in Penrose, a women's dress shop, which is where I think maybe this style thing has come from, and this entrepreneurial element in me. So I'd love to spend time just sitting with him and finding out how he created the business, how he ran the business, what went through his mind, just understanding entrepreneurship through the ages.
So maybe some of that entrepreneurial... is in your genes, maybe?
Yeah, and you know what? Even though I'm a solicitor, right, I always refer to myself as solicitor, entrepreneur, ginger, because those are the three things that are really important to me. So I'm definitely a solicitor, because that is something I carry with pride. That's a title that I've earned, and I really carry with pride. It does encapsulate me. Entrepreneur, because I do think that I am an entrepreneur, and I'm definitely ginger.
Nothing profound about that.
Nothing profound about that.
Do you know what the name of this the business was? Your grandfather?
Well, it was just known as Shop Sammy in Penrose.
Shop Sammy?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. So I'd love to go back and just see what inspired him to, create his own business at that time, and how what his thinking was.
Yeah. Fantastic. So for those listening and watching, if they want to hear more about you, maybe ask you a question, or maybe they need advice, legal advice, where's the best place to go for that?
I'm a bit of everywhere. So we're under Legally Ginger on TikTok.
You're joking?
No.
What?
I've got a TikTok page called Legally Ginger, where I try and entice the business owners to take that first step and engage a solicitor and give us some snippets of advice. DPA Law, of course, and then I'm also a trustee for Angor, which is a charity for people with life-limiting illnesses. I'm a trustee for Mental Congwendraeth, because Welsh is very, very important to me. So, yeah, you can find me anywhere, and I'm always in any community events. I've never want to shy away from anything, really. So, yeah, just come up to me and speak to me.
Yeah, if you see her in a community event, you'll be going like this with your sunglasses.
Yeah.
She'll be wearing some flashy trousers or
some orange fur or something.
Well, Kathryn, thank you for coming in and sharing your personal story. But on a personal note, just the advice you've given me personally in my business, and personally lost my mother earlier this year, and just to pick up the phone, because for me that's a real worry, right? Is that when it comes to legal advice, you don't take the advice because you think, I can't afford it. I can't
never
afford
think
it.
that. Never, ever think that, right? Because we are literally on the other side of the phone. And that's something that I'm passionate about, is that I don't want to create this legal desert where there's not any, nobody's coming to me because they can't afford it. We'll always find a way. And, everything, the first... friends are always welcome to come to me for advice.
I think that's something really important because, when you're in a crisis, it can often seem it's a barrier.
And I'll turn it into an opportunity for you.
I was going to bring that in. And I'll have to research this later. This Japanese word that James Dyson, you heard him speak, that this word in Japanese...
Can't remember the word, but I can remember what he said.
We'll find out. But when you're in a crisis... there is also an opportunity. And I'll leave the listeners with that. When you're in a crisis, see the opportunity. So, Kathryn, diolch am dod. Thank you for coming to talk. And
I've loved it.
Thank you for sharing your story. Diolch.
Thank you.